Hello, everyone. Welcome. Dr. Anthony Cornetti IV here, also known as Dr. Finance. Welcome to the Dr. Finance Live podcast. I have a very special guest today. She is actually a co-host on Clubhouse with me on so many stages. Unbelievable, brilliant person, Diamond Diva. So I want to give Diamond Diva a warm welcome. Welcome, Diamond. How are you?
This is Diamond, and I'm doing absolutely amazing, Dr. Finance. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be in your podcast. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Diamond. This is kind of strange. It's like we run stages every Friday night together for hours and hours, and here we are, and on Clubhouse it's just audio, and here we're visual, so it's awesome.
All right, love it. It's great to get to see you in person.
Okay, absolutely, Diamond. Okay, so I would like to get started, and first of all, if you can just give a quick, maybe 30-second just summary of your profile, and then we're going to get into your story.
Absolutely. Diamond Diva here, founder and CEO of Diamond Diva Entertainment and the Abundance Mastermind. We do live virtual events, and we help entrepreneurs with their business and mindset. Mindset is my jam. I'm a mindset coach with background in expert coach, NLP, and timeline therapy. And I absolutely love to empower individuals to develop a success mindset. Little known fact about me is I'm also an investor, move into the real estate mortgage space. I also work with a variety of charities for sickle cell. And, you know, I'm someone that just loves empowering people to live their best possible life.
That is awesome. Thank you, Diamond. So Diamond is a major Clubhouse influencer as well as Instagram influencer as well, amongst so many other things. A very smart, successful businesswoman, and she's got her hands in a lot of different pies. I was learning right before here that she's actually doing some other great, crazy things on the horizon. So stay tuned. But let's get to the story. So Diamond, I'd like to learn a little bit about yourself. So Diamond, you want to start with where you're from? What is your real name again? Your official name?
Yes, my government name is Sonia Lovelady, and this is a question I always get asked. You know, where did Diamond Diva come from? And we'll get into that story more, but I will tell you, it came from my experience in the entertainment industry. You know, I always had what people consider a bright and shining personality, and so they called me Diamond, and Diva came right along with that. And so that's where I got that nickname. I'm originally from the DMV area, born in DC, raised in Northern Virginia.
Wow, I didn't know that, Diamond. Well, I went to school in DC, GW, so not too far. Wow. But you're in Georgia now, though, right?
That's correct. Yes, Atlanta.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So, how was it growing up in Washington, D.C.?
It was great. You know, I love my childhood. I split my time between the Northern Virginia area as well as West Virginia, where my grandmother lived. My parents were in the military, and so when they traveled, I stayed with my grandmother, and so I had a really good childhood. You know, in fact, it was my grandmother in particular who really inspired me to go into the entertainment space. She was a woman with many talents: singer, pianist,
Wow.
seamstress, painter. Like, she really did all the arts well. And she inspired me to pursue my passions in that space. And, you know, that's really kind of put me on the journey to be an entertainer as well.
Thank you, Diamond. So you want to talk a little bit more about your story? So how you started in DC, and then how did you eventually get to where you're at now in Atlanta? Like, basically a little bit more.
Absolutely. Sure. I'd love to share that journey. And so I eventually wanted to go into entertainment as a career, but my family said, that's not a career. You have to get a real job. And so I always had a love for entrepreneurship as well. I started young businesses. I did babysitting at an early age. I sold pies. You know, I always had an entrepreneur spirit in addition to entertainment. So I said, you know what? If I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to school for business. And so I had a scholarship to go to Marshall University, with bachelor's in business administration, at Marshall, and it was amazing because as a part of the program, they had a ROTC program, Reserve Officer Training for the military. And being that both my parents were in the Army, they're like, you should go into the military so you can go to school. So I signed up for ROTC. I did that at Marshall University, and I also did modeling while I was at the school as well. And so after graduating from Marshall, I went into active duty in the Army. I was an MI officer there. I even did airborne school. These are
Oh,
all facts
wow.
that I rarely share, but it was definitely the highlight of my career. I did my initial term of service. And when I completed that time, I said, I want to be able to pursue full-time, my passions. And so I went into Troy University after that. I left the military. I went to Troy University to pursue my master's degree. And my last duty station was actually in Augusta, Georgia at Fort Gordon, which is where I met my husband. And so we met there and relocated from Augusta to Atlanta, which is where his family's from. And so I stayed in Atlanta, finished up my master's degree. And that's when I really went full-time professional with my modeling, as well as going into corporate America. And so that's how I ended up in Atlanta. A lot of people say, well, how'd you get there from there? It was through the military, plus marrying my husband at the time, who also was from Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow. So I didn't know that about you. So you have a military background, which explains a lot of the super discipline you have. And you have the entrepreneurship running through you since you were a kid, selling pies and babysitting. That's amazing. Explains a lot, Diane. Explains a lot. That's awesome. So what happened? All right. So how did the modeling picture you come into play? You said as an undergrad you were doing a little bit of it, but you became a professional model after you graduated with your master's. Is that right? At some
Yes,
point.
that's correct. So in college, actually going all the way back to elementary, I always did plays,
Oh, okay.
anything where I could be in entertainment. I was in the church choir, I sang, I danced, and always had an interest for photography. So when I went to college, I actually joined a sorority, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and we did a fashion show as part of a fundraising special event. And the photography department kind of discovered me there. They're like, oh, you really did great. We'd love for you to be a model at our special events that we do. We need models, and we actually pay you guys to be in the magazines and do other special projects. So I was like, yeah, I'd love to do it. And so that's what really gave me the training, the foundational training for how to pose, how to do more runway work. And I was like, this is really cool. But I went to the military after that. And so I really put that down for a while. After I got back out, I said, I want to be able to pursue my dreams, my passions, and not be limited. And so when we relocated to Atlanta, I connected with some amazing people here, got more modeling training, and that's when I started actually doing professional jobs where I was in Atlanta Fashion Week. I graced several covers of magazines in the field, and it was really amazing because I felt alive. Like, this is really what I want to do. This is, my creativity coming to life, if you will. And it was a great time for me in my life, because it allowed me to start seeing what other ways could I actually live my dreams, and how could I incorporate, entrepreneurship into that pathway as well.
Wow, that's awesome. So the modeling, your modeling career, it began. I mean, you had some training, you said basically earlier, but after your master's degree, you began your modeling career professionally. And how long did that last for?
I still do some projects here
Oh,
and
okay.
there, but really I've pivoted more into the entrepreneur space. So while I was working in Atlanta, I also went to corporate America, like we, shared earlier, because again, my family ingrained in me that you have to have a stable career as well. And so I was working in HR training development. I had my master's at that time as well. And so I continued on that path and eventually got married. And had children. And so we raised our family. And so I took a pause during that time to, be mom and to be working in corporate as well. And so I really modeled on and off up until that point. And then I took a break to raise our family.
Okay. Thank you, Diamond. So we're going to pivot now, talk about the types of businesses that you do, just to understand where you're at. So you have Diamond, Diva Entertainment, etc. So at this point, you said you still do a little bit of modeling. What other things do you do? Other businesses that you do? You want to explain?
Absolutely. So under Diamond Diva Entertainment, that is my entertainment company where I mainly do casting and live events. And so occasionally I'll have people come to me specifically for jobs. Most of the time I do delegate those tasks to the models that I contract out with, or I'll host events or help people produce events. And so that's what's happening in Diamond Diva Entertainment. Really, really love the work. You can see I have the logo and everything set up here. And it's really the foundation for my other businesses. However, as I went through the journey, as I shared with you, I got married. I went through a transition in my life where things weren't going well for me. And I ended up getting divorced from my husband. And it brought me to a place where I had to take a step back and figure out what is it that I ultimately want to do with my life. And that put me on this personal development journey where I had to figure out what ultimately is going to be my why, what is ultimately going to be my purpose, what is ultimately going to be my passion. And as much as I love what I was doing, I felt like something was missing. I feel like there was something more that I could do. And so that's what put me on the path that I'm on now. I met a mentor and we had a really interesting conversation where he talked to me about, knowing what matters most to you. And he said, Diamond, if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anyone else to believe in you? If you don't invest in yourself, how can you expect anyone else to invest in you? And so that conversation was when the light bulb really went off for me. And I said, you know what? You're right. Up to this point, I was looking to other people to support me, to make decisions for me, to make it happen for me. I said, I need to start believing in myself that I have what I need to succeed. And I need to start investing in myself. And so I started investing thousands and thousands of dollars in personal development programs, masterminds, mentors, coaching programs. And what I discovered through all that is what I needed was already inside of me. And I just had to believe. And it was through the power of mindset that my life completely transformed. And that's actually what gave me the strength to transition out of that divorce into the empowered position. I said, you know what? I'm not going to wait anymore for anyone to support, validate me, or give me that promotion to the C-suite that I was looking for and it wasn't happening in corporate. I said, I can do this myself. And so I created Diamond Diva Entertainment first, because that was my foundation and background. I said, I'll be able to not only do my own events, but I'll be able to support other people to be empowered. I said, I'm not going to wait anymore for somebody to promote me to the C-suite, because that wasn't happening in corporate America. I hit the glass ceiling. I said, I want to be my own C-suite. So I'm the founder and CEO of my company. And I said, I'm also going to share the power of mindset with every single person that I can. And that's when I founded the Abundance Mastermind and the Diamond Mindset Reset Academy. Because I said, I have to share this power of mindset with every single person that I can. And so I started the Diamond Mindset Reset Academy, where I work one-on-one and group programs, as well as have an online membership, so that other people who are in that transition in their life, who want more clarity, or even entrepreneurs who are at the point where they want to grow and scale their business, but they know that they have some type of limiting belief or block standing in their way, that they can have those issues addressed. And that's really my second why. My number one why is my family, my children, and my second why is my mindset business, because I feel like no matter what you're doing in life, mindset is the foundation for you to be successful.
We're going to get the purpose in a little bit, but I like what you just said. Usually I ask people about their purpose, and these are business people, and they go right to the business purpose, but you actually went straight to the family one too. And you don't need more. You're not trapped to have just one why. Like, you have two whys. Some people have one, some people have three. It's okay, right? Like, so and this actually reminds me of Viktor Frankl. He has three major purposes he sees for people in his book, The Man's Search for Meaning, one of my favorite books. And it was love of your work, love of your family, and one that he left as a mystery, I interpreted it as love for the struggle. This was to explain people in concentration camps who have no family, they have no job. So why are they keep going, right? So that could be the third why for many. So thank you, Diamond. I appreciate that. And yeah, we'll definitely get to that purpose part. I think you would love that section. So basically you have the Diamond Diva Entertainment. and you have the diamond mindset business going as well, and you have several other in the pipeline. So you got your hands full.
Absolutely.
What kind of so can you name just some examples of some of the masterminds that you've been on? Because I know you're really intense with that stuff. It seems like you're always involved with masterminds and learning experiences like that.
Yes, I believe that to really be able to get transformation in other people, you have to have that transformation in yourself first. And I really consider myself a constant learner. It makes me feel alive when I'm learning something new. It makes me feel like I'm walking in my purpose when I'm consistently improving and developing myself. And it also allows me to be a better influence and mentor and coach for my clients and my family, which again is my first why. And so I have the pleasure of working with some of the best in the personal development space. My number one mindset mentor coach is Tony Robbins, who is absolutely phenomenal. And if you ever heard me speak, I often quote Tony because he's made such a huge impression in my life. I mean, really and truly, the work that he's done has completely transformed the personal development industry. And it means so much to me because Tony was one of the first books that I picked up, Awaken the Giant Within, which I still reread because everything in that book rings true and resonated so much with me in my life. And so I could not wait to sign up for all his programs. I could not wait to sign up for his coaches and mentors mastermind, which is the number one in the world truly for transformation. And the tenets that he teaches are so practical and impactful that I've carried that with me throughout my life, my family's life, as well as every single client that I touch. I'm also a member of Robin Banks' Mind Power course. And I really love his course and his mastermind because what he teaches is how to use your subconscious mind in an impactful way. And so now we're getting deeper on that neuro-linguistic program, the NLP track. And, I thought it was important for me because I do have a scientific hat. I love everything space, science, NASA. And it was really important for me to understand, how does the brain work? We're talking about mindset. So it's important that you understand the neurosciences of what's happening in our brains. Why is what we teach in mindset true? Why does it work to use affirmations, for example, from a scientific or neuro standpoint? Why does this work? And so in the Mind Power course, that's the focus. That's the mastermind's all about, is really honing in on that subconscious, tapping in to the power of how our brains actually work, and to use that process to our benefit to be able to create new habits, new patterns, new beliefs, and ultimately new mindsets that allow you to shift and grow.
That is awesome. We got to get Tony Robbins on Clubhouse one day. I think that would be super cool, huh?
Yes, I would love it.
Hey, well, we got some Hall of Fame speakers already, Dennis Waitley and Jim Cathcart. They both knew him growing up when he was little Tony, before he was Tony Robbins. So we got the baby story of him. We just got to get the real thing now.
Absolutely. He would be, earth shaking. He would disrupt the whole entire app.
All right. Thank you, Diamond. All right. So we're going to pivot real quick. We're going to go into social media stuff. We're definitely going to get back to the mindset because I know that's one of your favorite topics. What are some of the tricks to get many Instagram followers? Because I know that you are doing extremely well on that. And also, how long have you been on there as well?
That's a great question. People always ask me about social media optimization. And for a brief time, when I first started Diamond Diva Entertainment, that was a service that we offered to help our clients to grow their Instagrams. And what's really interesting is the algorithm is constantly changing. They intentionally switch the algorithm up so that people are constantly, engaging in the app in new ways, and to really hold your attention spans. But one thing that I will tell you that has held true, regardless of the changes in the algorithm, there's a few things that you want to do to grow. Number one, you want to be consistent. Consistency is key for all the algorithms, regardless of the nuances and the changes that they make. The apps are designed for people to stay on as long as possible. And so what they want is people who post consistently. I would say a minimum of 3 or 4 times a week on any given app. to show that you're actively engaged. And there's something that a lot of people don't know about a lot of the platforms is they have in the background what's known as a trust score. There's a trust score similar to a credit score, which I'm
Wow.
sure you're familiar with. Yes. And the trust score basically rates, how engaged is this person on the app? How often do they post? How often do they engage with other people? How long do people spend viewing their profiles? How much do people engage with them? How many of the features are they using? And basically, the more that you are engaged and active on the app, the higher your trust score, which increases your exposure. That's a great algorithm hack. So being consistent raises your trust score. Another thing that you can do to grow is as the apps, I'll use Instagram, for example, rolls out new products, new services, use those products and use those services. Why? Because there's going to be more focus and attention there, which will allow you to get more organic reach. So for example, on Instagram, they rolled out the Reels feature. The Reels allows you to actually tap in with a wider audience, which will allow you to grow. And so as you use these new features, you're going to be rewarded by the algorithm for doing so, which will allow you to grow and scale faster. So anytime you see a new feature, jump on it, use it, implement it, maximize it, experiment with it, and that will allow you to grow. And the last tip that I'll give that has allowed me to grow and scale is collaboration. Social media is social, inherently in the name. And a lot of times people forget that and they'll post all day. They'll put up their different videos and comments, but then they don't comment back. Then they don't comment on other people's pages. They don't engage on other people's platforms. And so it's so important that you be social on the social app and then do things like what we're having today, where you bring on other guests to your platform. Another great feature, I'll use Instagram again, for example, since it's my primary platform. If you use the Instagram live feature, they rolled out a new feature where you can have up to 4 people on the live at the same time.
Wow.
And just like I mentioned before, if you use that feature, guess what? They're going to push your feed out to more people, not just your followers, but potentially new followers as well. And when you bring on another guest to do a conversation or an interview or even a masterclass, you allow to see more people on that time. They will actually be pinged in, they'll be notified, and most likely you'll get more followers and conversions that way. And that's been the strategy that's worked really well for me. In fact, I dedicate an entire show that I now do on a monthly basis, the Diamond Showcase, where I do exactly that. I have 3 or 4 guests every single month, subject matter experts in business, branding, talent development, and we mastermind actually on that show about what are the strategies that people can use to grow and scale their business. How can they use branding? How can they use marketing? What type of talent development skill sets do they need to use? And what works really well with that is every single person gets exposure from that experience. Every single person grows their following, and also produce flyers and do the marketing for them so they get more organic reach as well. And that has allowed me to literally 10x my following just from taking those 3 steps I share with you today.
So Diamond, so I'm not really familiar with Instagram Live. So you can do like live things like we're doing now on Zoom, on Instagram with like 3 or 4 or whatever people at the same time. And when people go into Instagram on their homepage, they see this live video and they can go in there.
Yes,
Right?
you can have up to 4 people at once. So it'd be you plus 3 guests, for example.
Mhm.
And what happens is on their homepage, they'll see your profile picture at the top, light up showing that you're live. And they'll get notifications saying Dr. Finance is going live with, and it'll even identify your guest names as well. And so when people click on that notification, it'll bring them to a window similar to this, where you can see all the guests having the conversation live. People can even come in and comment on the live. And they've even added a feature now where people can actually reward you with badges, which is actually a form of payment on your live as well. So you can actually be paid to go live on Instagram. It's phenomenal.
Wow. That is amazing. And also what I was thinking about, let's say you got a major influencer. So you're a major influencer, you got 100,000 plus, but if you had like 1 million plus, or maybe someone with 10 million followers and you're on the live with them, I mean, I would say being on there in an hour, you're probably going to pick up tens of thousands of followers just because of brand association at that moment, right?
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. That's how it works. And so, yes, that person's following would be notified. And most likely through brand association, you would pick up followers. And I absolutely have grown by doing exactly that. That's the number one organic way to grow on Instagram. And other platforms have similar modalities where you can do the same thing and collaborate. TikTok, for example, they have where you can go dual and you can have your video side by side with someone else's video. They also have a live feature as well. And you're starting to see more and more platforms have similar collaborating tools where people can have multiple conversations at once to gain that organic exposure. And it's the best way to do it, quite frankly, because now you also have people who are in similar niches to you, because it's really not about the numbers as much as it is about the quality of the followers.
Mhm.
You want people who engage with you, because even if you have X amount of followers, if they don't engage, that can actually bring your trust score down because the engagement doesn't match your following.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's another strategy, and you're probably talking about this already, just not officially. The like strategy. Some people just go on, they're like warriors. They'll like everything on Instagram. They I like this picture, I like that picture, and some have a number to it. It might be 20. I'm do 20 likes a day or 100 likes a day or whatever they allow you to max. And then the next day, you keep doing that, and just from that strategy, they build influence. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, liking does allow you to grow. I would just say be intentional with it and really like the people who are engaging with you, because you want to be liking the people that follow you. And then you also want to be engaging with your target audience, your target clients, your target followers as well. Because when people see the like, then they may well like you back. They may even follow you back. I'll also be careful with the numbers as well, because there is a cap on how many you can do per day. And it's based upon the size of your account. And so what you don't want to do is get to the point where you overuse that feature or any feature really, because it will lower your trust score if you reach the cap. They'll consider that spamming behavior. And that's one of the violations of the rules of almost all the social media platforms. And so if you like too much, then that will give you a warning and you'll actually be blocked from taking that action for a period of time.
Wow. How about verifying, Diamond? I didn't check. Are you verified?
No, I'm not. And that actually goes to the conversation we talked about. So there was a new post that came out about Instagram verification in
Yeah.
particular. And what we found is this: in order to be verified, you have to be in certain types of publications. Now, recently I had a magazine release, and so that'll give me points towards being verified. But you have to have a certain amount of publications on major platforms in order to earn that verification. So that is something that me and my team are looking at. Verification definitely helps you from a branding and positioning standpoint. So it's something that you absolutely want to do for your business. But Instagram and a lot of the platforms have tightened up on the requirements to actually receive that. And the number one is publications. You have to be in the top publications in order to earn that blue check at this point.
Okay, makes sense. I was having this discussion with a high influencer yesterday, and you know, she doesn't have the blue check on Instagram, but on Facebook, she has the same problem I have. And I'm just learning all this stuff. So I applied. I'm just waiting for them to give me that blue check mark. Just and they do it mostly for security reasons, but it seems like even though they're under the same umbrella, Facebook, Instagram, it doesn't matter that you got a blue check mark on Facebook and you're verified there. It's not a guarantee you'll be verified on Instagram. There's no guarantee, even though it's the same company, they really have two different processes from what I'm learning.
That's true. Yes. Because of how they're set up, every platform has a different requirement and a different threshold, and they really do limit. They have kind of X amount they approve per year. Unofficially, that's how it works. And so Instagram is the most stringent to receive verification. And there was a time where if you were approved on Facebook, it was almost an automatic for the other platforms, but that's not true anymore. So every single platform, you have to go through their process to be approved now.
Thank you, Diane. Appreciate that. Some great feedback. love to get on a live with you one day and test it out. My 1,000 versus your 100. Plus 1,000.
Let's do it.
I'm
And I
just
don't
building it.
discriminate because I love to be I look at the quality of the person. If you're a person that has the right audience that I want to connect with and we're in alignment, then I'll absolutely go live with you. I know some people look at the following, but I'm all about quality, not quantity, because you want people to engage with you in a meaningful way. You want that dream 100 people who are really going to support what you have. And that's more important than that big number.
We should do a live of us on Friday night where you don't even see our face. We're just into the iPad and stuff, like on Clubhouse.
I love it. Let's go.
That'd be funny. He's not looking up. She's not looking up. Well, we're on Clubhouse. All right. Thank you, Diamond. All right. So let's pivot back to where we met. We met on Clubhouse. So Diamond is one of the top Clubhouse hosts on the app, and I met her. She was this was early on. She was there way before me, and she was running these huge rooms, 500 plus at the time, which was normal numbers back then. It's got a little diluted over the days, but she's still a significant influencer at the moment. I think approaching 55,000 followers, which is not easy on Clubhouse, folks, because you have to earn every single one. Like, you literally have to go in rooms and speak and speak and speak to get all those. So there's no advertising that I know of. Might be behind the scenes, but I don't know about it. So she's actually earned her degree on Clubhouse. What does it take to be a great Clubhouse host?
That's a great question. Clubhouse is all about your rapport with the people in the room. And I believe the number one thing is to have great conversation. It's an audio app. People are there, they want to hear your voice, literally. And so if you're someone that knows how to carry on a great conversation, you have great insights and value to bring, you are going to grow quickly on Clubhouse. And I believe that speaking is one of my strengths. I love to speak. If you go all the way back to my early years, I won some speaking contests early in life. I always did public speaking at one form or another in my career. And it's just a passion of mine. I love the energy. I've done a lot of in-person speaking events from the crowd. And even on audio platforms like that, you can feel the energy of the people in the room. And so a great host is someone that can really read the room and understand where the dips are, where you need to bring the energy up, and also allowing the audience to be able to engage. I think it's important and really helped me in my growth to have a question and answer and commentary portion of every event that you do, because people want to listen, but they also want to be able to engage. And what makes Clubhouse unique is it's a perfect platform to have group discussions in that manner, and you can control the conversation in the flow. And so a great host will allow other people to participate, but still be in control of driving the conversation, keeping decorum, and making sure that the important points are highlighted.
Thank you, Diamond. Appreciate it. And Diamond and we've actually not only do the Friday night things, but it's the quality of the people that we've had as guest speakers, like many of them on this podcast, ranging from, Mark Victor Hansen, Dr. Dennis Waitley, of course, my mentor, Sharon Lechter. We've had a lot of major guests, and to run those rooms is really not an easy task. It's a very difficult task. And but we run it with such style. So Diamond, as my co-host in the background, she's always doing, great things, making the room getting pumped up. So I want to thank you for all that, Diamond. I appreciate and all the energy after I leave. You always take over and keep the room going, which is another feat that you pull off every single week. So thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Finance. It truly is an honor and a pleasure. And I have to say, you are a great host, because all the points that I shared, you exemplify. You definitely know how to bring in the best guests. The educational value is there. The entertainment value is there because the conversation is definitely one that you want to follow. The questions that you ask are the questions that people want answers to. And I think that's really important when you're thinking about an interview style hosting of a room. You want to be asking those great questions, the questions that everyone in the room wants to know, but doesn't have the opportunity to ask. And you do that with style, you do that with grace. And it's truly an honor to be able to support such a room because the impact that you're making on the app and in people's lives is truly taken beyond what's really happening on Clubhouse into actually the real world as well. I've had many people say that room that you all did on Friday, this is my takeaway. And now I'm using this in my life. I'm using this in my business. And it's because of the work that you're doing, Dr. Finance. So I want to give those flowers right back to you. I'm grateful that you allow me to be on the team and that I'm able to keep the conversation going after, because my favorite part is, what is the nugget that you took away from this? Because I'm just eating it up. I have pages of notes and it truly has transformed my life as well.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. And thank you for the compliment. We are definitely we're a great team here. So, and when we got Kate and Dan in the background and all the great senior members as well. So, we're building a culture. And as Ivan Meisner had said, culture eats strategy for breakfast is right. Like, we have a great culture in this club that is such about the positive mindset in business. So I guess let's just keep it up, right? Keep doing what we're doing. How does it feel to be a major Clubhouse influencer?
Thank you so much for the compliment. After thinking about the guests that you brought, Sharon Lechter, Ivan Meisner, I would definitely put them in that category. So it's an honor to even be considered. For me, I just come on every day and my goal is to make sure that I add value. I feel like I've been blessed with so much great resources and information. I'm in the masterminds and the courses I've invested, like I said, thousands and thousands of dollars in my personal development. And I feel like it's an honor to really be able to share that information with other people and to be able to give them that knowledge so that they can act upon it. And so as an influencer, I take that hat and I say, you know what? Let me make sure that I'm using this the proper way and that I'm putting out the best information I can, that I'm supporting people as they grow on the app, and that I'm also learning too. I feel like there's so much more to learn. There's so much more that I can do. And so I'm a student as much as I provide value on the app.
Thank you, Diane. Appreciate it. Awesome response. One last Clubhouse question. What are some of your top positive and negative experiences on Clubhouse? So maybe some stories you want to share, just to paint the picture of how the behind the scenes or the things you witness on we've both been on the most amazing stages and situations in Clubhouse. Just think about the longest running room that we're both a part of, right? It stopped, but was 84 days. There's nothing in Clubhouse that ever existed like that, or in humanity, really. But we saw the daily things that happened, the life transformations, people crying on stage, it's just so many things. So anything that comes to your mind for maybe top positive and or negative experiences?
I love that question. Absolutely what it takes to run a $1 million business club. Absolutely in the top 3 of my experiences. That club is when I found like I really found the right side of Clubhouse. As you know, when you first come on the app, you have just random rooms that may or may not be relevant, and they were very much not relevant for me. And coming to Clubhouse, I didn't know what to expect. I had heard about it, good things. And so I said, well, let me just check this out, because typically every new social media platform that comes out, I check it out, because I think social media is an important tool, not just for business, but for life, to be able to connect in a meaningful way with people. And so I said, let me check out Clubhouse. I was really open to it, but the rooms I was seeing did not impress me. And I said, I don't know about this app. But then one day I followed the right person. And that's what led me to Kate and Dan's room. And that changed everything for me on the app. And I started following more and more people in that room. I followed you, I followed Kate and many others. And then I was like, okay, after that, I started opening up business rooms, finance room, entrepreneurship rooms, all the things that really resonate with me. And that's what I was looking for, a tribe of like-minded individuals. Then I started seeing the mindset rooms, which is my jam. And so the highlight for me was being able to find a tribe of people literally on a global scale that I can resonate with, that are on that same trajectory with me, that want to learn, that want to grow, that want to support. So that's number one. And then I got brave and said, you know what? I'm going to host my own rooms. And so they started opening up clubs. You remember when that was a big thing. And I founded two clubs, the Abundance Mastermind and Diamond Diva Entertainment. And I really leaned on the Abundance Mastermind because I already had Diamond Diva Entertainment established in the real world. And I said, what can I do with the Abundance Mastermind on this app? And so I started hosting rooms weekly on Wednesdays, the Focus Your Mindset and Manifest Your Future room. And that has been so amazing because every single week I said, I want to do something different in this room. I want to make sure that not only am I putting out great mindset information, but I'm also giving people action plans. And so what I did in that room is I made it kind of like a masterclass style where every week we go through, everyone shares, this is what they learned, this is what's really important about that particular mindset topic. And then I give people actually strategies and action steps they can take that they can use throughout the week. And then everyone comes back the next week and we do it all over again and continuously learn and grow. That room has changed everything. There's been so many people who have come back and said, I had a breakthrough because of this room. I manifested a new job because of this room. I manifested a new opportunity because of this room. I've been able to achieve XYZ in my business because of this room. And it's just been so amazing that this was just an idea of like, let's see what we can do here. And now I have a whole tribe of people. My club now is over 16,000 people. Wow. Who lives have been touched just from this audio app. And so that to me has been like a huge highlight that we can come together and we can make amazing things happen and really make an impact on people's lives. I'm also in a crazy room in the evenings, as you know, where they talk about everything under the sun. But you know what I like about that room is I get to be the voice of mindset in that room, because sometimes you have to go into other spaces. And what I found is this: after a while on the app, I found myself in the same room with the same people all the time because I was following the same people. And I said, you know what? I need to branch out. I need to see what are other rooms. They say there's 30-some thousand rooms a day. What are these other rooms that I'm not seeing? Because you don't see the rooms unless you're following the people into the rooms. And so I started intentionally going into rooms that typically would not go in just to see what was available. And I stumbled across the Million Marathon space. And that's where we talk about everything from, you know, politics to all the things that are happening in the, you know, global economic health crises, all the things that normally I don't discuss, but I'm like a fly on the wall in that room because I get to learn about what other people's experiences are, what is happening from the other side, people who are maybe not of the same thought process of me, but that I can still learn from. And I think it's important to have that awareness about what's happening elsewhere in the world. And then when I can add value, I do. And I get to be the voice of, hey, there is maybe a better way to look at this, or hey, maybe you can reframe this. And that's been really powerful for me as well, because even though sometimes I don't agree and there's crazy stuff happening in that room, I always walk away with a bit of information I didn't have before.
You know, that's a great way to reframe the situation. I know exactly what you're saying. For the audience perspective, yeah, so there's some negative rooms out there and the comments just go crazy. And you sit there for 5 minutes. If you have a positive mindset, it really starts eating at you. So you go in there and you actually try to be the voice of reason. And listen, if you can turn a few people's minds in the proper direction in the course of that few hours or whatnot, you did your job. So yeah, I like that strategy. It's pretty good. It's torture for a person for people like us, but you're doing it for the right reasons. So thank you, Diamond.
Absolutely. Because if you think about it, the people that need your help the most are the people in those rooms.
Yeah.
The people who, you know, are basically venting and using that space as an outlet for their frustrations or the challenges that they're facing in their life. And so I'm like, if I can be the voice of reason, the best way I can do that is by demonstrating and leading by example. And so I've really met some great people, even in those spaces where they're like, you know what, I'm so glad you came. That insight was important for me. That value you brought was important for me. And those are the things you don't typically hear in the room. People don't typically discuss mindset in particular, which is the number one thing I share on the app, because I believe that mindset truly is what every single person needs in order to achieve their goals.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you, Diamond. So just want to go back to your story. When did you come on Clubhouse? What was it, January or before then?
I joined at the end of December. I want to say it was
Okay.
December 2020. Yes, I joined at the end, just after Christmas. I want to say it was the 27th.
That's when Kate opened up, around the time she opened up her first marathon room. So you actually, your first experiences was with Kate and Dan before you even opened your club?
Absolutely, yes. Yes,
Wow.
I was a student in those rooms first because I
Wow.
didn't really know anything about the app. When I joined Kate and Dan's room, that was the first entrepreneurship room that I went in. And I was like, this is it. This is what I'm looking for. And so that really inspired me. And I said, well, I don't want to do another entrepreneurship room because they're already doing it so well. What is it that resonates with me that I'd like to share? And I said, well, I'm going to share mindset because mindset is extremely important to me. And that's why I went the direction I did with the Abundance Mastermind.
No, I didn't know that. So I came in, I was nominated by Sharon Lechter February 3rd. So it took about a month or so, I guess, to finally, like you said, follow the right person into that room. And that's when it clicked for me too. But you were one of the first people somehow that I also followed because you had a huge room when I was just growing up on Clubhouse. And I didn't know that. I thought like you were, you had your own thing going on, but you actually came through Kate and Dan's process as well. So you're a testimonial to that room that some of the biggest influencers like Damon John and Grant Cardone, they all came through that room, just the way Kate and Dan has described it before, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And I mean, and that's why I still support the room to this day, because I believe in the work that they're doing in that room. That room is actually giving people what they need. There's not many rooms on the app that are purely about value and not really pitching and those types of things. And the fact that that room stands purely for let's bring value, let's make an impact, let's touch, a million, a billion entrepreneurs, the big goals that they have for that space is what makes it so impactful. And it did give me, great insights of how can I run my room in a similar way. And so I do the same thing in my mindset room. It's not about, sales. It's really about impact. And, I always feel like if you lead with love, if you lead with heart, if you lead with impact, the byproduct is success. The byproduct is all those other things that most people put first.
Thank you, Diamond. Appreciate that. I'm glad. I'm just glad I found the story. I'm impressed. I always knew that. I had it in the back of my mind, but when I walked in February and March, it's kind of like, here's the big rooms. I see Diamond's room. I see your room. I see Kate and Dan's. I think Glenn Lundy had the Breakfast Club, John Lee, and I didn't know this history behind all of them. And it's only as you go forward, as you start learning, you're like, wow, they all came on around the same time. It was like a free for all in the beginning. It was the Wild West back in December. All right, thank you, Diamond. Okay, so here's your favorite question of the day. Why do you want to become a mindset expert? Why did you want to?
Mindset changed my life. And I truly believe that if you want to have an impact in your external world, it starts with your internal world. And, I briefly shared my story. As I stated, I went through a really hard point in my life. And what brought me out of it is mindset. I'm still the same person. The difference is how I view myself and how I view the world. And when you understand the tools that we already have inside of us to reframe the things, how we perceive the things that happen to us. Because a lot of times we think, well, if we had more money, if we had more opportunities, we had more time, our lives would be different. The truth is, it's not a lack of resources as to why we're not successful. It's a lack of resourcefulness. It's a lack of how we view the things that we have in our life. It's how we frame the things that happen in our lives. It's not what's happened to us that's held us back or impacted us as, it's how we view it and how we attach emotions to those experiences. And once you understand that, it puts you in a powered position because you know now that we have control. We get to choose our thoughts, we get to choose our words, and we get to choose our actions. And it's the combination of those things that impact our lives. And that all starts with mindset. And if you think about it from a physical standpoint, your mind controls your body. Your mind controls absolutely everything about your existence. And so as long as you are in touch with what's happening in your mind, you're able to influence every other aspect of your life. And so it became important for me because once I understood the tenets of what I shared and learned the techniques and the tools to be able to be in control of what's happening there and to be able to change the way I view myself and impact what's happening in my world, I said, I got to share this with everybody. And so it really became my mission to share the power of mindset because so many people, especially now, need this. They need this in their lives. And I've seen personally the impact of stress, anxiety, what it can do to me, myself as a person, as well as what it's done to family members, friends, and society as a whole. And so it truly is important for me to have that in alignment with myself, have my mindset right, so I can take care of myself as well as take care of others.
What is your definition of mindset? Maybe 30 seconds.
Mindset, the definition of mindset is your thought process. Thoughts become things. And that's a quote from Bob Proctor. Thoughts become things. And your mindset is truly how you view yourself in the world. And a byproduct of that is your patterns, your attitudes, your beliefs, and the results that you have in your life.
Awesome. Thank you, Diamond. All right, we're going to pivot one more time, sort of in the same vein, but going back to your story. So what role has the struggle played in your life?
The struggle is actually my greatest victory. It's so interesting you asked me this question because I just did a room last night where I talked about how people often want to avoid problems in their life and they view problems as something to be avoided. And while, yes, you don't want to intentionally cause problems in your life, the good news is that if you are to run into problems, there is always an opportunity. And so I reframe everything that happens in my life now. The struggle for me has actually been my greatest victory because it put me on the path that I'm on now. If it had not been for the things that happened in my life, the setbacks, if it had not been for the dissolution of my marriage, if it had not been for me being blocked in corporate America to get that corporate C-suite position, then it would have not given me the fuel that I need today. My second why was a byproduct of that. Because once I realized that life needed to change for me, that's when I made the change. And the truth is, there are two reasons why people change in their life. They change either due to extreme happiness or they change to extreme pain. And I've experienced both in my life. My first why came from extreme happiness, the birth of my children. And that's why they'll always be my first why. They'll always be my first because after having them, I knew that my purpose on this earth was to raise those young men to be amazing humans. And that always fuels me, even on those days where I don't feel well or I don't want to do the thing because we're humans, right? I know that because of them, I have to get up and I have to go. My second why was born out of the struggle that you asked about, out of that extreme pain. But I'm equally grateful for that because it gave me the motivation that I needed to step out of my comfort zone. I could have said, well, I'm just not going to make that goal. I'm not going to make that money. I'm just going to live a life of, stress and be worried about finances. Or I can make a way. And by choosing to use that struggle as fuel, like, you know what, I got to figure this out. I got to make it happen. That allowed me to go on this mindset transformation journey, which changed everything, even how I parent my children, because that became my second why. And so I just want to share that message with everyone that it's all about reframing things. There are two words that I want everybody to take out of their vocabulary. Okay. Number one is obstacles. There are no such thing as struggle, problems, or obstacles. There are only opportunities. And when you reframe things in that way, no matter what you are going through, you will be able to see that there is an opportunity for you to learn. There's an opportunity for you to grow. There's an opportunity for you to pivot. There's always an opportunity. Okay. And the other word I want people to take out of the vocabulary is failure. There's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. Feedback is valuable information that you can use to learn and grow and pivot. And it may seem like semantics for some people, but I'm going to tell you something really powerful that I learned from NLP. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro means brain, linguistic means words, and programming is obviously programming. And so when you think about that, it basically tells you what it means. Your words program your brain. And so when you think about certain words, you can feel the difference between an obstacle, which feels like a block and a limiting thing, versus an opportunity. You can literally feel the difference when you say the words. And what happens in your subconscious mind is it's processing the nuances between those words. So if somebody says, I have an obstacle, their vibration is going to lower. If they say I have an opportunity, it's like there's hope there for it to be a good outcome. The same thing happens with the word failure. You hear failure, automatically failure. Ooh, that's a heavy word. You hear feedback, and it's like, okay, this is something I can take and make something positive out of it. And so reframing and being selective with your words is extremely, extremely powerful. So when you think about the struggle, which is a word I rarely use too, I think about it as the opportunities that came from it. The opportunity to start my business, the opportunity to be able to support my children in a meaningful way, and an opportunity to impact the lives of others. And I'm telling you, when you have that frame of mind, you will be able to do absolutely anything in your life.
That's beautiful, Diamond. You know, we could probably have like an hour-long discussion just about plus hour about mindset, because I know I hear you sometimes like we'll talk about one thing and then you'll go into mindset, and like 20 minutes later, everybody's like, wow. So it was like you were reading out of you combine all this information from textbooks and you put the emotion in it, and you went running with it. And I was like, wow, that's very impressive. And you know so much about you. Do you read a lot of books about mindset?
Absolutely. It's so funny. I laugh because, when Amazon delivers at my house, which is frequently, the kids used to think, oh, is this a toy? They asked, is this a gift for us? Now they say, Mom, you got more books at the door. Because they know that's what I order. I love my Amazon Prime membership. And I love books in particular because I like to actually feel I'm old school. I want to dog ear. I want to highlight and underline. And books to me are the best form because it really allows me to read at my own pace. It allows me to absorb new information. And every time someone mentions a great book that impacted them, I go get the book. And every time I meet a great author, like when we had Dennis Waitley come into the room, I went and bought all his books on Amazon, because it's just so important for me to learn from the greats. If you think about it, and this is such a common phrase because it's true, success leaves clues. And so if there's someone out there that's mastered the area that I want to grow and learn in, I want to learn from the best. And I want to learn from all the books that you can rate it, because they literally in the books, they give you the framework for success right there in the book. And so I'm a big, big reader. I've been doing that since I was a child. I have to credit my grandmother on this too, because she used to take me to the library and we would go and check out books every week. And I would check out like 3 or 4 books and I'd be done with them in 2 days because I just love reading. I know how to speed read and digest the information quickly. And so like Dr. Dennis Waitley said he eats marketing for breakfast. I think I eat books for breakfast.
Yeah. Oh, that was Ivan Meisner.
Ivan Meisner. Okay, yes.
Yeah, what do you say? So, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Eats strategy for breakfast. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. He was great. And I bought his books too, by the way.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Brilliant. And I first heard that saying that you mentioned, success leads clues, from Jack Canfield. He taught me that in the Canfield retreat it was about a year ago. So, and he was right. Like he that was like his best way to explain how to be successful. And I kind of got the hint. He's like, Go search, you'll see there's clue. And once he said that, it was kind of like when you get a new car and you're like, oh, well, I got a Ford. And all of a sudden you start seeing Fords. You got a Cadillac. All of a sudden I start seeing Cadillacs, right? Once he said that, I'm like, I'm looking for clues and I'm finding them everywhere. I'm like, wow. So yeah, thank you, Diamond. Appreciate that.
And to your point on that, what you're referring to is the reticular activating system of your mind. And that's why it's so important for you to be mindful about what you consume, because just like what you said happened. So what happened was he planted a seed. Okay, and just bear with me for one moment. I'm going to go into the subconscious mind, because I think it's important for people to understand how this works. If you think about your brain, you have two portions. You have your conscious mind and you have your subconscious mind. So your conscious mind is the part of your brain that filters information. It has the ability to accept or reject what it receives. Your subconscious mind is only in receive mode. And your subconscious mind is the part of your brain that controls all of your body systems, your digestive system, your cardiovascular system, everything that's going on automatic. You don't have to think about, oh, it's time to breathe, it's time to heartbeat. All that's ran in your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is actually the home of your mindset, which drives 90 to 98% of your actions. It's the home of your attitude, your belief structure, and your memories and emotion. And so when a seed is planted in your subconscious mind, it's like fertile ground. It will grow. There's no discrimination there. So if you're planting positive seeds, fruits, vegetables, flowers, plants, they will all grow. If you're planting negative seeds, weeds, stress, fear, anxiety, just like weeds in a garden, it will grow. And so when you start planting the seeds like success leaves clues, what happens is that seed goes into your subconscious mind, and it's like, that's interesting. Then your reticular activating system gets activated, and it starts looking for evidence to support that information. And so that's why you want to always plant the seeds that you want to grow, because whatever seed you plant, it will grow. So if he had planted a negative seed, your reticular activating system would have activated, and then you would have started seeing things that support that construct as well. And that's how people develop mindsets and habits and patterns that don't serve them, because they're planting seeds that don't serve them, those negative seeds, and they grow exponentially. And then they start seeing things in the world to support that mindset, and they begin to act and behave in accordance with that mindset.
Wow. Thank you, Diamond. We got to have a mindset night one night.
I love it. Let's go.
All right. All right. So before we get into the finance questions, we're about halfway here, or probably less. How difficult is it for someone to go from the bottom to the top of the wealth spectrum? So, going from ground zero to becoming super financially successful. Any thoughts on that?
I think it depends on the person and their mindset. What limits us is not the external world, it's our internal belief system. And when it comes to finances in particular, there's a lot of limiting beliefs around this category. A lot of people have a scarcity mindset surrounding money. And I can attest to that because I grew up with a lot of the constructs that don't serve. Statements like money doesn't grow on trees, and money's hard to find, and money's the root of all evil. These are things that I heard at an early age, and those were seeds planted in my subconscious mind. So what happens is, when you start to go into wealth building activities, those limiting beliefs cause you to do self-sabotaging behaviors. You don't understand how money works. You don't take the time to learn it. And so you make critical mistakes along the way. And so I think it can be a challenge for those who haven't done the internal work yet and have identified and broken the limiting beliefs that they have surrounding money. Because the truth is, money is abundant. Money is literally printed every single day. And so it's a matter of changing your belief system and understanding that, and then taking the necessary action steps to be educated on money financially, changing your thought process, your words that you speak surrounding money, because that makes a big impact, like we just shared, and then taking the action steps to build that wealth. And for me, once I broke free of that scarcity mindset, that's when things started to grow for my business. That's when things started to grow for me financially as well.
That's awesome. Thank you, Diamond. Okay, so can one book change the world?
Absolutely, yes. And I have to go to the good book on this. I'm a Christian woman, and I believe the Bible is a perfect example of one book that absolutely changed the world. It's still the number one bestseller, and there's been, even people who don't believe in the tenets taught in the book, they're familiar with it. So absolutely, the Bible has proven that to be true, and I believe that, for even those who are not of the faith, just reading a good book on any topic of interest for them can be life changing. And I'll give another example: Think and Grow Rich. That book has truly changed, many, many people's lives. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, another staple in the industry that's changed many, many lives. And why do these books have such an impact? The common thread, because each of those books plant seeds and that allows people to start thinking in ways that they weren't exposed to before. Your mindset drives 90 to 98% of your actions. So if you're not exposed to the possibilities of what's discussed in these great books and many others, then you don't even know that it's something that you should be considering. And so your reticular activating system is not going to be looking for the success that leads clues. It's not going to be looking for the fact that you can grow your wealth in these ways. It's not going to be looking for the code of values and morals that you should be living by. And so absolutely, reading is fundamental to people expanding their knowledge and changing their lives.
Perfect. Thank you, Diamond. And for a reason, I was for a moment, I was just actually thinking in the back of my head, I'm saying, Clubhouse is making people geniuses. how many masterminds we're in like every day, just the people coming in here. I haven't been on that much the past few weeks for different reasons, but like in the beginning stages, the rooms that we were sitting on a daily basis and seeing different things, learning about human behavior and learning about like specialties and of different sorts, like mindset, et cetera. I just think like, I know that you've been doing it for years, but do you think that Clubhouse might have pushed you over the top a little bit to become more of a mindset expert?
Yes, it certainly has. I mean, being in the masterminds that we shared with, Kate and Nan, and the What It Takes to Run $1 Million Business, that alone, being exposed to people like that. And, you have to remember, one of the biggest influences on our mindset is the people around you. What are their values? What are their thought processes? What are the words that they speak? And so when you're in the right rooms on Clubhouse, you're exposed to people who want to succeed, that have value to bring, that can give you a new perspective, that can give you those gems and those nuggets, that can suggest amazing books. That's what grew my book list so much. I mean, I've literally bought hundreds of books just from being in Clubhouse rooms. And if somebody mentions a book that's of value, I order the book immediately. While we're on the call, I'm ordering the book as they're speaking, because it's that important to me to gain that knowledge. And so, yes, Clubhouse is definitely 10x my knowledge base, my love for mindset. I've even had the opportunity to share stages with people who I've looked up to in the space, people like John Assaraf, who, is a neuroscientist and mindset coach that's really made a huge impact. He was in The Secret. Where else can I share a stage with him and be able to ask questions for him directly on how I can improve my mindset and support my clients better? And so it has definitely had a huge impact on my knowledge. And I continue to be a student every day. I have a Clubhouse notebook. I filled up several already. It's like going to the best college or university you can ever go to.
You were really doing it right. That's awesome. Oh, wow. All right. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate that. So we'll talk about networking for a little bit. What role has networking played in your life? Maybe in a minute or less.
Networking is absolutely essential to your growth. Life is all about relationships. The relationship with yourself and the relationship with others. And so once you're secure and clear about who you are and how you want to show up, then it's important to link up with other people who are on that same page, who are in alignment with that as well. And you can support one another on your journey. Everything that I've accomplished in my life has been due to my network. My mentor, I met through a series of introductions through my network. The business that I've built and the businesses that I'm building have been through my network. being on this call right now is due to my network. And so I'm a huge believer in building meaningful relationships in the network.
Thank you, Diamond. And as a follow-up to that, you already hinted at it. So is mentoring important, and who are some of your mentors?
Absolutely. Mentoring is everything. My first mentor, Bill Stroud, he's the one that put me initially on the mindset coach. He's an entrepreneur. Tony Robbins is my mentor. Robin Banks is my mentor. I'm also in a series of coaching programs. Ed J.C. Smith is my mentor for coaches and consultants. I have a marketing mentor and business sales mentor, Megan Chattelis is my mentor. I'm in several programs. I want to make sure I'm not leaving anybody out that I'm working with. And I'm also in a series of masterminds and coaches and consulting groups as well, where we mentor each other within those circles. And so I'm a big believer in mentorship and coaching programs where you can actually have that one-on-one and that group setting where you can get the frameworks. Success leaves clues, and success also has patterns and repeatable steps that you can follow. And so by having a great mentor, they can give you that information, shorten your learning curve, and give you a critical piece, which is accountability. A lot of us intellectually know that we need to work out, but if you have a coach, a mentor, someone who's keeping you accountable to that, you're going to be much more successful. And the same thing happens in all areas of your life. So I literally hire a coach and mentor for every single thing that I feel like I need growth in. And I use those mentors to learn and grow from, and also build real relationships as well.
Thank you, Diamond. All right. So what are your favorite financial books?
That's a great question. So I just now started really expanding my library with the Robert Kiyosaki books. I have almost all of his books. I started out with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, and I'm building upon that. I'm also purchasing Dr. Finance, your books, as well as the ones that you are doing with the 13 Steps to Riches, because I think it's really important for me to continue to grow in the financial space. So I have your books as well as the 13, the first books that are out right now for the 13 steps. I plan on getting all the books. I also like Sharon Lechter's books as well on finance. I like her 3 Feet from Gold book, and I like her Think and Grow Rich Women book. That book in particular has been really good for me in the financial space.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's Sharon's top one. She always wants me to promote the Think and Grow Rich, and for a woman, an unbelievable. I bought it when we were doing the ads, and she wanted me to put it at the top. I'm like, wow, that really is that powerful. All right, so I went and bought it, and I looked at it, and I know why she wanted it that way, because the superstars that are in there is just incredible. All the woman superstars, and it's such a nice play off of the Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill in the direction of woman and entrepreneurship. So that's a good one.
I love Sharon Lechter, and she's somebody I would love to have as a mentor, because I look up to the work that she's doing, and her books are extremely powerful because yes, there are nuances for women, and there's not a lot of women in the financial space. She's really carved the path there, and as well as female entrepreneurs that have success on her level. And so I think it's really important to have that representation, because again, planting those seeds, that reticular activating system wants to see what it is that you want to believe in, and that just expands so much for you. And in that book, she has so many superstars there. She breaks down, these are the steps that we need to do. We need to stop buying bags and shoes. We need to start buying, paper assets and other things that are going to build real wealth. And I think it's really important to have that female voice so that women can get that insight and understand, like, okay, yes, this is speaking to me directly, and this resonates with me, so I can make that change in my life.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Diamond. All right. And do we need money to survive?
I think money is an important part of the society structure, because you have to trade resources. But here's the thing about money. I think sometimes people get so caught up on money to believe that money is absolutely everything. I believe it's about your mindset of money that's more important, because money is energy. Money is something that flows to and to and from you. And so it's so important to keep that in mind when you're thinking about money. So yes, to live in our society, you absolutely need money. It's important because that is how we exchange value in this society. But you also need to keep in mind what really matters most. What are you using that money for? Why is it important for you to have that money? What can you do to allow that money to work for you? And so that's where the money mindset piece, I think, is more important, because you could go bankrupt tomorrow, but if you have the right money mindset, you'll be able to rebuild that wealth again. So you really want to have the money mindset first, and then the byproduct will be that actual physical money in your bank account.
Thank you, Diamond. Is finance necessary for everyone? The science of finance.
Yes. I wish I met you many, many years before, as well as Sharon and, so many other leaders in the space. Absolutely. With the same principle, I believe you have to be educated on this. And here's the reality. The vast majority of Americans do not have this information. Why? They don't teach you that in school. And even with my MBA, I did have finance courses. I did have, courses on economics. And here's the reality. They still don't teach you what you need to know to build wealth. So it wasn't until I went on my personal development journey and I had my inner work in alignment that I realized there's a huge piece in my life that was missing. And that's the reason why I went through some of the challenges I went through, because I didn't have the literacy, the financial literacy that I needed. So I think it's extremely important for you to have financial literacy, invest in those great books that we just shared, invest in those coaches and mentors, invest in those masterminds and classes, because once you start planting those seeds, you'll start to see, okay, this is where I can improve and this is how I can make my money work for me. So this is important. In fact, I think it's something they need to add to the curriculum in schools so that people can start learning at the younger ages when your mind is more open and receptive to this information and can start incorporating it into their lives much earlier.
Thank you, Diamond. All right. How important is having a purpose in business, and what is your purpose?
Purpose is absolutely important. I love these questions because everything is right up my alley. Purpose is what drives you. It's right in alignment with your why. Now, your why is your reason for being. It's your reason for doing. And your purpose is what you're going to use that why to accomplish. And I think it's so important as an entrepreneur for you to remember a few things first and then figure out how you can incorporate that into your business. Now, I believe as entrepreneurs, we're problem solvers. I believe that we're the people that provide products and services that are solutions for people's problems, and that we improve the quality of people's lives. And so I believe if entrepreneurs have that at the forefront, their purpose becomes, how do I take what I bring to the table and be the solution? How do I take my God-given talents, skills, abilities, my niche, my area of expertise, and be the solution and improve people's lives? Provide that product or service that's going to be the thing that enhances things for people and makes things better. And having that purpose is going to be the thing that allows you to have a successful business. Because if we start with the avatar, the target client, the customer in mind, and we produce for them what they need to succeed using what we do best, it's a win-win for everyone. And so purpose is going to give you a great foundation for that.
Thank you, Diamond. All right, 2 questions left. We're almost there. What would you like to accomplish in the next 10 years or so? And why?
I love this question. I've been really, really leaning forward on this. And so what I'd like to accomplish is to have all my diamond industries and enterprises fully established and running smoothly, making a global impact on the world. One of my manifestations, and I fulfill part of this, is to be an international keynote speaker, mindset coach, and investor, making a global impact in the world, sharing the power of mindset to raise the global consciousness.
That is awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And that's where I want to be in 10 years. Actually, sooner than that, but we'll say 10 years since that's the question.
Yeah. How about books and stuff? You got that on the back burner for things you want to do?
I have some ideas about books. I work a lot with my children on the things that I learn and share. And I think it's important that I create a book for them as well, to have that legacy. As an avid reader myself, I know how powerful books are for people's lives. And some people will pick up a book before they'll come to a seminar, or before they'll actually attend one of your events, or be a part of your coaching or mentorship program. And so books provide a really great way for you to share the power of your information at scale and to leave a legacy. And so, yes, I absolutely plan on creating a book. I even have some ideas about what the contents of the book will be, but it really will be that success leaves clues mindset, to where I break down how I built my empire and give some frameworks for people to have a successful life.
Sounds good. Whenever you're ready, Diamond, give me a call. I'm going to give you an endorsement.
I love it. Yes, thank you. You heard it here first, guys.
I guess I can't change my mind now. All right. What would you like to be your legacy to this world? Last question.
Oh, I love this. My legacy is, I want to know that I made an impact. And first and foremost, my children, I want to live a legacy for them, so that they have financial freedom and they have the tools that they can continue to learn and grow and succeed on their own in the areas that resonate with them. And I also want to make sure that I leave a legacy of the power of mindset in your life. I think it's so important for people to take the time to look themselves in the mirror and do that inner work. A lot of people are afraid to have those real conversations with themselves, or they're so busy living life that they don't take the time to do the inner work. And so my legacy is to share that power of mindset, to build that legacy for my family of wealth, and that knowledge that it took me many years in the school of hard knocks to acquire. I think it's so important that we always be forward leaning, and we leave those clues for the people that come behind us, so that they can shorten that learning curve and achieve exponential success off of what we learn in our lives.
Wow. Look at that response. I love it. All right. Thank you, Diamond. Appreciate it. All right, Diamond. So we're about to close out. I wanted to thank you for being here today, and of course, spending your quality time. And we actually talked before this for a little bit too. So, thank you for Clubhouse as well, for always being here and supporting. Even before I made you co-host, you were there, and you would come and you always support. And I love that part about you. You didn't care about, I needed the green badge. They call it in Clubhouse terms, everybody gets a green moderator badge if you're a moderator. And some people put all their faith in that. And Diamond knows it's really it's just an administrative tool. It's nothing. If someone likes you, you're on stage. So thank you for all your support with that, Diamond. I want to turn the floor over for you for a moment, and you're more than welcome to talk about anything you'd like. If you want to pitch a product or whatnot, or where we can find you on social media or website. So the floor is yours, Diamond.
Thank you so much, Dr. Finance. Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank you and give you your flowers for making this interview possible. I really respect the work that you're doing, and I love that you care so much to provide opportunities for people like me to be able to share their message. So thank you for the work that you're doing to provide so much value for every single person that you encounter, for being the leader on educating everyone on fiscal responsibility and why finance is important in their lives, as well as bringing in amazing speakers on personal development, business and branding, and all the topics that I think everyone, even if you're not an entrepreneur, can benefit from, because all of those skills that you learn can also be used as life skills as well. I'd also like to thank everyone who tuned into this podcast and is supporting the platform here. I think it's really important that you be open to learning new things, and supporting those who support you, and be open to applying any of the gems and nuggets that you may have received from this into your life. Knowledge is only power when you apply it. And so take any gems that you receive and implement it in your life, and be open to any feedback or any opportunities that come along your way in your life, because through those situations is where the real growth happens. If anyone is interested in connecting with me and learning more about what I do at Diva Entertainment and the Abundance Mastermind, you can reach me on my website at www.diva, www.diamonddivaofficial.com. That's diamonddivaofficial.com. And on that page, you'll find information about what is happening with my company, how you can connect for my mindset coaching businesses. I even have some free offers there for you to take your mindset to the next level, to gain more clarity and insights on how you can build your mindset as well as a successful future. For anyone who's interested in actually coaching with me directly, I have a membership platform that you can join as well. It's at www.diamondofficial.club. And it is my monthly membership where I do mindset coaching videos every single week. And you actually have the opportunity to attend live events with me where we have different master classes, as well as challenges and special events for the members. I'm really looking forward to seeing you all over there. And if you'd like to connect with me on social media, I'm on Instagram at Diamond Diva Official. That's Diamond Diva Official on Instagram. And you will see a link tree there that will take you to all the offers that I shared with you here today, as well as additional resources and interviews and publications that you can find me in as well to connect. So thank you so much, Dr. Finance, for the opportunity to share. The power of mindset is absolutely everything in my life. And it's the reason why my motto in life is this: if you believe it, if you take massive action, you can achieve it.
Wow. Thank you, Diamond. Appreciate it. And again, one last thank you for coming here on the show. Certainly, folks, we'll be posting this on various social media platforms, including YouTube and all the podcast directories. So thanks again, Diamond. Folks, we're going to be closing out. This is Dr. Anthony Crenita IV here, also known as Dr. Finance. And you've been watching the Dr. Finance Live podcast. And our special guest today is Diamond Diva. Sonia, I'm sorry, how do you say your last name again, Diamond?
Love Lady.
Love Lady. Sonia Love Lady is her real name, and Diamond Diva is her stage name and a trademark. So thank you, Diamond. I appreciate that. And welcome again, folks. Also, real quick, if you want to get more information about me, so it's drfinance.info. I'm going to be posting this podcast there as well. And a little about the book. So if you're interested, The Necessity of Finance, I wrote that book for my students about 10 years ago when I was a professor. But I learned that a common theme kept coming through that book, which was about survival and struggle. And I couldn't figure out why. Maybe it was a byproduct of my life and the struggles that I had. And that led me to my second book, The Most Important Lessons in Economics and Finance. Again, another survival topic popped up, and I put both the quotes from those on both of those books. I'll read it to you real quick. On the most important lesson in economics, this is one of the principles. Ignoring the lessons in economics and finance equates to welcoming a lifetime of struggles for a nation and its people. And this theme of struggle and survival kept bothering me until I finally wrote my last book, The Survival of the Richest, about a 500+ page book, tying survival, finance, economics, and even into biology. And the theme of this, based on the foundation, was that finance is an extension of survival. So that, among many other conclusions. Folks, if you want to learn more, definitely check it out. Books are everywhere. If they're not, just tell them you're looking for it. So thanks again, folks. And we'll see you on the next episode. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe this podcast everywhere you find it. And also to follow and like Diamond Diva and myself on social media as well. And we'll see you on the next episode. So thanks again, Diamond. And thanks again, folks. See you again. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.